What is going on, everybody? Anon here. Happy 2026. Hopefully, everybody had a safe New Year's Eve and good Christmas and all that. Looking forward to what looks like a pretty fantastic 2026. And I want to spend some time tonight talking through my strategy for Q1 and then just the overall market in general. So, we're going to touch on Magic. We're going to touch on Pokemon. We're going to touch on a little bit of Bandai, a little bit of Weiss. I got a lot of tabs open, some other stuff. But before we get started, I do want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I've gotten a lot of questions on this. I don't do Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't grow up with Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime. The fact that they're going to effectively modernize or what have you, the cards that they're printing, otherwise known as, make some flashing cards, serialized cards, whatever, make it a little bit more collectible, a little bit more chaseable. I think it's probably something they had to do. Since I don't buy it, I don't sell it. I haven't felt the pain of some of the other folks. I know Mason from Cardinal did a pretty interesting video the other day on how it's just been a total bloodbath. But there were a bunch of follow-up videos that I saw where people are like, well, maybe it's time to jump in. What I think is going to happen is all the lemmings are going to look and say, hey, look, this is a shiny new object. It's got to do well. So it's going to get over-ordered. The demand is still going to be the same amount of player demand because there's really not a collector base at this point outside of the vintage stuff, at least to my knowledge. Now, some of you Yu-Gi-Oh! Nerds can correct me in the comments. I use that as a term of endearment. And I think it's just going to get smashed. And I think ultimately if the print run is the same and people start to get cut because they want the product, it can do well. But I'm not sure that's in Konami's DNA to do that. So I'm staying away. From my perspective, the risk reward doesn't make any sense. It could be an absolute home run. It could be an absolute bloodbath. I will leave that to everybody else to mess around with, and I will deal with Magic. Okay, Q1 Magic the Gathering. So there's a lot of people that are, or I guess I should say, people are generally bullish on Lorwyn. They're extremely bearish on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then we come to, is it April? Is Strixhaven? So a really quick turnaround after Turtles. And then we get into Marvel and then The Hobbit. And we kind of get into the meat of the lineup where they have to print money because the hurdle is so high year over year for financial purposes. They really they have to crush it. So I want to talk Commander decks, but I want to talk overall market. So I think, in my view, I think Lorwyn is going to perform a lot like Tarkir did. Tarkir did extremely well. Now, it was under order to begin with because people didn't know what to expect. It was coming off of Aether Drift and off of Innistrad Remastered. And Innistrad Remastered was a set where they had the Edgar Markov spoiler, a couple other spoilers, and everybody in the world was waiting for the rest of the spoilers to come out, and they never did. And then the set came out. It was really, really short printed. But there was really nothing great in the set. It was cool, but they just kind of short printed it and moved on. And put a pin in that because I think we're going to see that again here. But with Tarkir, it came out and it was really, really muted. I remember I had sold a master case early on of Commander collector boxes to a sub for $225 each. I think, and my cost was like $195, and that's what the market was at that time because Innistrad Remastered had gotten smashed. Aether Drift started, it was absolutely on fire. It was like $285, $275, and then it went all the way down to like distro price, which, $200, $195, it was under that for a while. So I moved that, and then next thing you know, the spoilers come out, and everybody looks at the dragons, and they're like, okay, this set's pretty cool. And then it moves up to $325, $350, $375, and it's really been bouncing back and forth between, I think it was as high as like $4, $4.25. More recently, down in the low threes, it started to move up a little bit, but I guess MVP still has has product they're dumping. But I think that's really what Lorman's going to look like. I think the play boxes, there's probably going to be a pretty tight margin for the first couple weeks. But as we've seen with all these play boxes, the sales are absolutely through the roof. There's not going to be a second wave coming out, I believe, anytime soon, because we do have a lot of reprints scheduled for Q1. Q1 is by far the lightest hurdle for revenue numbers and earnings numbers for WotC for the year. So I think they're going to hold a lot of items back and hit them in Q2 when they have to, because Q2 is huge because of Final Fantasy. What's going to be really, really interesting is what's going to happen with the commander decks. They're not going to have the sample packs. There's only 2 decks in there, so in each display you get 2 of each. How are they going to look? How powerful are they going to be? Hopefully they're bangers, because it does look like they printed a lot of them. So, for example, my initial minimum allocation was about half of what I'm going to end up getting for commander decks. Now, play's gone up, collector boxes have gone up, but commander decks normally don't go up that much. And to have my allocations double, and this is across multiple distributors, it's not just one. There's a lot of it coming out. So it's going to be interesting because commander decks are one of those items, and we'll kind of segue into the point of the discussion here. It's one of those items where they come out, they churn, they get dumped a little bit, but then people buy them, they sell them for singles, they make their decks, and then once the supply starts to dry up, they start moving up in price. And we have seen this movie again and again and again, really for the last 5 years, 6 years, as long as they've been making these, as long as the decks have some sort of power or cards that people want, they move up. And, you look at some of the older ones, even look at Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I think it's like $400 for the set right now. Brothers War, you go back to, what did I see today? Battle for Baldur's Gate. The decks are like $160, $200 per deck across I think there's 4 of them for that. So we know how the movie goes. So what I want to talk about is Duskborn. And we're going to get into the opportunities because the opportunity on Duskborn is long past at this point. So this is a 1-year chart. So Duskborn came out in September, I think it was, of 2024, because it was like a month before Halloween. Yeah, because I think November, December was Foundations. So these came out, they moved up, and here in March, we got a reprint. They got smashed all the way down to 140, and then the deck cleared. They start to move back up. And if you look at Commander decks, Ixalan's the same way. Ixalan is hilariously identical to this. Move back up to $200. We get the reprint in Q3, along with Bloomborough and Tarkir and Ixalan. This was a relatively moderate reprint. It goes down, things don't move, and then all of a sudden they start to move up. Now, if we go down here, yes, it says 85 current quantity, but I counted these. There's only 38 decks left. So there are 38 displays for sale on TCG Player. And let me walk you through this real quick. So if we look at the individual decks, let's see if they have them here. The big one is right here. This is, I forget what it's called, Endless Punishment. So this was a deck, and a lot of these were for sale in, I think it was Costco with a bundle, and then they were on Amazon in individual decks. But if you look at these, all of a sudden they've jumped up. Here you go. Here's the reprint. It's the exact same graph. And then all of a sudden, so you can see in the last month, 400 of these have churned. There's only 69 decks left. So the decks themselves sell like crazy now. Well, they go up to 130, 140. But if we look at the singles, and again, this is just a lesson in how the product kind of evaporates, right? So let's go to best selling. Ashaya Soul of the Wild here. So in the last year, there have been 3,700 copies of this. There have been more copies of this card sold than there have been of the decks in total. In DSC, this is obviously Duskborn Commander. But these are obviously coming from somewhere. So they're coming from the decks being broken down. So we have 600 of these being sold. We have over 300 of the individual. Is this endless punishment? I don't know. Either way, 400 of the decks that are end up being sold. So you can see in the last month, there's like 1,000 plus displays, individual decks, and then individual cards that have just vanished. And this just happens again and again and again. And it is so consistent at this point that the decks just absolutely go nuts. And again, getting back to the graph in total, this is going to be a little bit of a long one because it's a little bit teaching, a little bit preaching. And the fact that I haven't done a video in a couple of days because it's been a holiday. But again, you look at this, we know what happens next. Now, it's not out of print. We're going to get another reprint, but it's at 160 now, or I should say 170. We have this one. Where was it? Oh, no, he's gone already. We had an idiot seller that was selling for like 140 plus shipping. So yeah, 170, 170, 170. I mean, you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decks and you're at 190. 12 displays. So this is what the Commander world looks like. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works with Ixalan. So Ixalan this is the next man up. So what happens is when these come out, the big stores like your Stomping Grounds, your Fortune Fires, your collector store, they buy a ton of these because it's part of their game plan because they're churning spend. And their plan is to sell them and sell them as quickly as they can to gain liquidity, etc. So what we see here is they run up, the reprint comes here and they get smashed. So you have 108. And then all of a sudden here, you have people selling it for 111. So distro price on these was anywhere between 107 and 112. I'm sure some of the bigger stores have a better negotiated price, but I think even distro price for Monty was like 98, 99. But you'll see this with everything. We'll see this with, let's see where we're going to go. With Bloomberg, same thing. They come out and everybody dumps them. And, Fortune Fire is famous for their light shipping where they take the collector sample pack out, they take all the packaging and then they ship it to you and you get the decks, you get to play them. But it saves them money on shipping and they end up selling them below what, most people's distribution cost is. But once that churns through the system, this is where the opportunity happens. So Ixalan is sold out at every single distributor now. In fact, I called everybody on Tuesday to buy up anything that was out there. And I think I got 6. I think PhD has some in a couple warehouses. I did a video on this the other night. But again, you have 111 sold. In the last month, 116 left. But it's not that far, and you're back at 170, 190. And again, what happens is you go back here. Let's look at the Velociraptor deck. Now, this thing has been completely smashed. This was over $100 for the longest time. Oh, maybe not. Maybe this was the prior time. But in the last month, you have 208 sold. So you have 111 sold of the overall displays. You have 200 of these sold. And let's go to the single cards, best selling. I don't know the cards that are in the decks, but either way, let's look at Exquisite Blood, just so you have some idea of the magnitude. In fact, it's got a branching evolution because this looks like it would be in a ramp deck. This is near man, isn't it? Or moderately. Why does it? I don't understand why it defaults to moderately play. That's so stupid. So in the last month, 644 of these have been sold. Let's just go to a quick Exquisite Blood. This is a rare. Near mint. In the last month, 500 of these have been sold. So the number of products that are churning here is astronomically high. So getting back to the actual cases, which isn't going to show up here for me, these cases are going to be back to $200 probably in 2 to 3 months because everybody churns through them. And then that's most likely it. We're probably not going to get another reprint. I mean, this set was what, September-ish of 2023? I don't think they're going to hit it because they can't. I mean, they could smash the market. They could drop another 25,000 of these on the market. But is it worth taking up the time to print these when you can print 150,000 boxes of Final Fantasy or, whatever the next product is? Probably not. So this is a huge win. Moving on, Tarkir. This is almost gone everywhere. And we saw the same graph here with the reprint. Was it 270 all the way down as low as 132, which is actually below distribution cost. Now, I'm sure that that's excluding $15 of shipping. But again, 153 sold, 175 on the market. But if you go back into the individual decks, and I don't know why I'm doing this because it's all going to tell you the exact same story. I'm just going to this one randomly. 155 in the last month. Sultai Arisen. Again, I don't remember which is good and which is bad. They're all kind of the same. Hold on. So let me go to singles real quick. Pull the best selling. Now there's a lot of these out there. But in the last month, 467 of these. So these are going to churn and they're going to start to go away. I mean, Seedborn Muse, oh my God. There's only, okay. 891 on the market, but 812 is sold in the last 30 days. So as the supply dries up, these are going to get squeezed and they're going to push absolutely through the roof. It's the same graph again and again. And I want to go to one quick thing before we move on. I want to look at the collector commander decks because these are finally starting to dry up. And in my mind, by the end of the year, these are probably $1,000. So only 34 have moved in the last month out of 98. I didn't count to see if they're 98. I'll just take their word for it. So we have 34 there. Let's go to the individual decks. Best selling. The Stola deck. 51 in the last month. So now we're 85. But then you start getting into the card. Now, granted, the cards don't sell that quickly. There's maybe 30 a month. But these are the cards that are going to churn, and they're going to churn, pretty quickly. These are going to be all this stupid. Where's my surge foil? Let's go to our girl here. It's not going to give me surge foil, is it? There we go. Just do it the old-fashioned way. And here, it's been on a little bit of a slow drop, but it's 25 a month. So these are slowly drying up to the point where once they're gone, the price is going to absolutely skyrocket. I just bought 10, I think, off eBay for $450. It's at $115, $112.50, whatever per. It's really hard to say no. So Bloomberg, moving on. This is an opportunity for February. These are starting to dry up at distribution. Now, there's 177 listed. I will tell you there are thousands out there. I mean, I'm sitting on pretty darn close to 1,000 of them. But at 141, it's not bad. And they're moving 82 a month. And you go back into the individual cards. This is a good way just to tell that things are churning. Helmet of Frost. What was there? One per deck? LP. Yeah, this is LP. Let's go to near mint. It's probably what I screwed up in the last one. Yeah. So 1,000 of these listed. Obviously, this has been a massive, massive dump on the market, almost to the extent of Final Fantasy, not quite. But 459 in the last month. It's only a matter of time before these things start to move. I mean, 6,500 of these in the last year. Here's your reprint. There you go up. Here's your last reprint. You know, you went from $5 to $12. It's just a cycle that we're in. So pay attention to these Commander reprints because we're going to get Lord of the Rings, even though Rudy doesn't know about it apparently. We're going to get Lord of the Rings in Q1. We're going to get Karlov Manor, which I love because that could very well be the last one of Karlov Manor. And the EV on that is way, way higher than what this sealed is selling for. So that, in my mind, is a huge opportunity because the market's a little fragmented. And then we'll see. We'll see if we get Fallout. Fallout's starting to move again. And, you know, the cycle is probably going to repeat itself here. We need Outlaws of Thunder Junction. So we'll see what happens. So moving on. Avatar collector boxes. We can go a lot quicker through the rest of these. 762 in the last month. 343 left. They're starting to dry up. There's nothing left in distro. There's this one idiot here, Fredman, who's undercutting everybody in the market. And then you have a couple other folks here. And then you're back at 275, 280, 300, or 375, 400. And we're going to be at 400 soon. And there's no reason to believe there's more product coming to market because at $400, anybody who scalped it has a cost basis of probably $455 plus tax if they're in a tax-paying site or state. So we kind of have price protection, if you will, up to, you know, call it 460, 470. So moving on, everybody's favorite. And this is the last one for Magic. Spider-Man, as the kids say. So 356. These are almost gone. And Micropenis actually went there on Monday and bought mine out. They had 25 boxes. I think I paid $299. I'll go back at some point this week, and get the $270 price. But these they're gonna dry up a little bit slower. But the fact that the Marvel set is coming out, I think it's June or July, whatever. It's gonna have some level of tailwind. If nothing else, the Infinity Stone. It's probably gonna have another Infinity Stone. And there's probably going to be some sort of synergy where the Infinity Stones get near each other and start to vibrate. And then you have two stones in your hand. Who knows? But these are not going to go any lower from here. And they're worth buying. I think I have 399. I really, really tempted to buy one last one. Magazine Exchange has a limit of 2. I should probably just do it. Anyway, all right, Pokemon. So Pokemon is in a really, really interesting place because it's been really, really slow for the last 6 weeks, but it's a holiday, so it's normally still like this. So now everything seems to be roaring back to life. So One Piece went nuts. And keep in mind, this is the spend in TCGs. It's almost like a squish ball, right? You know, you squeeze one game and then the spend has to go somewhere else. So as One Piece goes nuts, you have all of these funds that are now available because people are, you know, made 2-3x on the product. It has to go somewhere. So it seems like it's coming back to Pokemon. The fact that the second wave of Phantasmal's come out and it's gotten eaten up like nothing, the boxes are back over 240, is an extremely, extremely bullish sign. I think the only reason why Mega 1 is like 225 is just because it's starting to get a little bit older. People are starting to lose interest. They're looking at the new shiny object. But, you know, I think it's a really, really good set. Now, obviously, Phantasmal's 2 cards. That's pretty much it. I've said that since 6 weeks before it came out when I did my expected value video. But getting back to this. So this is a little bit more around the difficulty of Pokemon to reprint cards or reprint these specific items. So prismatic figure collections, these were delayed like 3 months because if you turn them around, there's a sticker on the bottom. It's all your safety. Like don't stab yourself in the eye with a pen. It's more than that, but it's just kind of a summary. So I don't see these getting printed again. Now they could, but this was such a pain in the butt and such a nightmare. I mean, everybody in distro had to cut every single case open and manually apply the sticker. So this has been an absolute train wreck. But a lot of these were sold through Walmart and big box stores. So we have all the supply coming in here. But there's only 419 on the market, 749 that have sold. The promos are going nuts. I think they're like $20-$30 per promo. And it's prismatic evolutions. As I mentioned, every single video that I've done for the last couple weeks, when we got into the final year of 151, the reprint timing started to slow down because they need to free up print space to do other things. We are in the final year of prismatic evolutions. Yes, it's only 2 years. It is the shortest amount of in-print time of anything in the Scarlet and Violet block. So we saw a lot of reprints last year. I think the reprints are going to slow down. At the very least, I think we're going to see less of the I should say trashy product. The reason I call it trashy is because the amount of trash it leaves if you rip it is astronomically big, like the Sea and Sky boxes. These boxes are huge. And we're going to see some more compact things, ETBs potentially, booster bundles most likely, and go from there. But I think the odds of them reprinting a lot of these is very, very low just because the difficulty they've had with these. And when it comes to pins, it's a little tricky. So there's 11 packs in this. Yeah, 11 packs in here. So I figure the packs are even at $10 because prismatic packs are going to be $15 by the end of the year. It's going to happen. It's just the way the world works. So you have $110 in packs, and then you have the 2 promos, which are probably $50. So you're already looking at $160 of value. Like, what are we even talking about? These are really, really undervalued. Let's see. Moving on, Paldean Fates booster bundles. So these just came out to distro, and I don't even want to talk about the bundles. I want to talk about the Paldean Fates booster bundle displays. Now, I sold a bunch of these for Cyber Monday, not because I wanted to, because I needed something that I had a bunch of to sell on TCG Player. Quite honestly, the only reason it did sell out, which made my day. I still have 50 displays left. So like 11? No, not 50. I think I still have like 10 or 11 sealed master cases, which yeah, I'm thrilled with. But these displays are going to be $1,500 by the end of the year. Because once this rotates out, remember, you have the Bubble Mew. The Bubble Mew is effectively the Umbreon of Scarlet and Violet right now. It's the card that everybody wants. It's the card that's going to the roof. And you can say, the Prismatic Evolution's Umbreon. But the Bubble Mew, it's just better. It's just better. So, these were as high as, I think, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 at the peak. It's time because this is going to rotate out in 3 months and you're going to wish you did it. Speaking of the great Tusk EX and Iron Treads EX Premium, I finally got 5 of these on Walmart through MJ Holdings or GT Collectibles. It's the same company. Whatever. I paid $99 for it. It doesn't really matter. But, I mean, same deal. You're getting 11 packs, and you're getting the actual stamped promos, which don't exist anywhere else but in here. There's nothing else to talk about. $10 a pack plus the promos. You're $130 here. You got 3 months of these. Worst case coming to market. I don't see how this is an absolute home run. 151. I don't even need to talk to you about this. This is out of print. These should be these are going to be $200 per, probably by the middle of next year. There's nothing to even talk about here. Yes, there's a lot of them, but ultimately, this is like a generational set. Again, there's not much to talk about. Mega Charizard XEX Ultra Premium Collection. So, as far as I can tell, and from what I can see, there were 16,353 pallets of this manufactured. Each pallet contains 39 cases of 4, so 156 of these. So that puts it at 2.55 million units in the wild. I think I mentioned before that there's approximately 3 million produced. There could be more than this, but throwing that out there, the second wave of this is at distribution and gone. So the massive dump that everybody thought was going to happen, it's gone. We're going to start to see it move back up. I mean, again, you have 30 days of inventory here. Now, I know there's a lot of stores that are holding this, but you have 18 packs at $5 a pack, $90, $6 a pack. You're 110. Promos are 40. I mean, you're basically sitting at intrinsic value to rip it. These are going to go up. I have a hard time believing that we're going to see more of these produced anytime in the next 6 months. Now, after that, we could. But as we've seen, all of these drops with big box stores, they don't move the needle. It's a rounding error. It doesn't fucking matter. The big box store drops aren't relevant in the grand scheme of things. It's just noise that people like to complain about. At this price, it's a buy. Sorry, it just is. All right, moving on. The booster boxes that are rotating out, they're still undervalued. Paldi at $400. It's pretty cheap. I probably wouldn't go there just because the cost base is a little high. Same with Obsidian at $300. The set's not great. Paradox $235 and Scarlet Violet Base $224. These boxes are going to be double this price by summer. Unless the entire market craters. We saw what happened with Silver Tempest. I've showed you guys in my prior videos. Once sets go out of rotation and they go out of print, they generally go up 25 to 40% historically. We're probably going to see an exaggeration of that here just because of where we're at in the market. They're underpriced. They really are. And I mean, honestly, my biggest SV positions right now are an SV base and Paradox Rift for that reason, next to Paldean Fates and, of course, Shroud of Fable, which I'm not going to mention here because if I already talked way too long. We're going to go into some promos. So these are promos for sets that are going to rotate out. These are just my personal favorites. Snorlax 051. This is the 151 regular ETB promo. These things are going to be $50 at some point in the next couple of years. There's still a decent amount of them, but there's been 20,000 that have sold in the last year. You have 1 month of inventory here. Now, they're always going to come out of the woodwork, but nobody's ripping 151 ETBs because they're $400 right now. Nobody's certainly ripping them because the value of the packs and the value of the promo don't make any sense. So the amount of these in the wild are the amount of these in the wild. We haven't seen an ETB reprint for at least a year and a half. It's a buy, in my view. I have about 100 of these that I'm sitting on. Pikachu 27. I believe this is the Paldea Evolved promo. This is way too cheap. This is probably a $40 promo. It has all the starters on. It isn't the most valuable ETB of all the base sets. It's just, it is what it is. Mimikyu, this is a regular one. Again, if you want the Pokemon Center exclusive, that's cool too. A lot of Paldean Fates was ripped. 16,000 of these have sold in the last year. 700, there's 616 on the market. Nobody's ripping these. Yeah, this could be a $20, $30, $40 card. I think what people forget is in a year when people look back to Scarlet and Violet, it's going to be the good old days. They're going to say, I remember when that happened. I wish I could go back. And it happens year after year after year, set after set after set. And it's just the way it is. And we're getting to the point where when these rotate out and the boxes soar, everybody's going to have FOMO. They're all going to have regret. And this is where we want to be. Pikachu 88. This was for the little collector chest, which there were so many stores fire selling this at 25, $30 forever. The only 3 cases I have, I think I got from Magazine or from Mad Al at $25 each. That was like the last 3 cases they had. $10 for this. Again, you got, is that 2 of the starters in there? I don't know. Is that Mousehold? I don't know the names. I don't really care. But 400 sold, 267 on the market. I mean, these are all $50 cards. It's just a matter of time. Pikachu Illustration Collection. This is perfect timing because they just dumped more in the market. 520 sold in the last month. Anytime you have more sold in the last month without any catalyst whatsoever, that exceeds your current available quantity, it's a home run. And then you have all this other garbage that's like Korean, Chinese. Like, it does annoy the shit out of me that TCG Player allows the foreign cards. I get it. They get paid a commission, so that's what they want to do. But anyway, all right, we're going to dumpster dive. Teal Mask Ogre Pond. So this is as low as this is going to get because we've had all of the Twilight Masquerade ETBs come out. It's a super playable card, at least I'm told. But for $1, under $2 for something like this, Twilight Masquerade is probably going to be the 3rd or 4th best set. Think of it like Lost Origin, Chilling Reign. Probably closer, quite honestly, to Silver Tempest because it does have the Greninja. It's just, people are going to want it. It's iconic. It's obviously hasn't rotated out, but this is going to be a couple dollars by the end of the year. Same with this guy here, the King Gambit. This is the little 4-pack EX box for Shrouded Fable. They're not making any more of this. Not a whole lot of attention on, but in the last 3 months, now granted that's probably just me buying, but that's okay. $298, $529 on the market. I wish I could find sellers that were selling a lot of these. There we go. Nonstop Gaming, North Carolina, 173. Interesting. But yeah. And then back to dumpster diving. Petrant. This is the regular promo from the Shrouded Fable ETB. Again, Shrouded Fable, when it goes to rotate out, is probably going to be $175 because it's most likely not going to get reprinted. The ETBs are what they are. And when we look at the new generation of supply in the market, you go back to those being printed at the bottom of the bear market. And there's going to be such an astronomical shortage relative to where we're at today that these are going to be sought after. And again, it's just a matter of time. And if you guys don't see it now, that's fine. This is not a buy now, wear Lambo or free tendies. This is a buy now, and in 3 years, when nobody can find Shrouded Fable ETBs, you're going to be sitting on a bunch of cash. So moving on. I've talked about this till I was blue in the face. Nikki boxes or Nikkei, however you want to say it. I'll get a little pat on the back. These are now under 1,800 available in the market. 400, they're still selling like 10 a day. 400 in the last month. We still have Shushu right here out of Florida, $78, 1,500. There's 300 of these left. 300 boxes left. Less than a month of inventory. And then all you have is this wall at $78. So what's the most interesting here is obviously the boxes are going to $78. Like there's no way around it. If you don't see this, then you suck at math. But as these sell, I have not seen a whole lot of supply come onto the market. So again, I was saying this at 45 and then 50 and then 55. Now we're at 65. What happens with Weiss is the boxes churn and then all of a sudden they don't exist. And then the price goes up. because we don't get the reprints of these, generally speaking. And the reason I'm walking everybody through this is an example of how the market works. It's not a pay attention now and where's my gold watch. Like, this is a process, and time can be your enemy. It can also be your greatest ally. Azure Lane Volume 2. What's great here is it tanked. Now it's recovering. 650 on the market. Now only 331 in the last month, but there's no wave 2 coming. You have this wall here with these guys selling 459 at $60. But once it's gone, guess what? There's only 200 left. And then it's gone. And then you're hoping for what? A reprint version? These will be $120 probably by the summer, if not sooner. It just is what it is. By the way, with Nikki, there was just a Nikki Volume 2 announced in Japan. Looks like it's going to be June, July, which means in October-ish of 2026, this will be coming in English, plus or minus. Okay, moving on. Freerun. The reason I'm mentioning this is I bought a bunch of this. It's moving now. Now, it was a reprint. TCG Player kind of screwed up on this, and everything rolled under this. Then they added the reprint one, but everybody's listing their boxes on here because the price is better. My guess is you're not getting first edition. You have this no-name seller here, and then you start to get to 62, 63. But again, there's less boxes available than what have sold. And the biggest thing with this is season 2 for Netflix is coming out in a couple weeks. And there's going to be a ton of eyes on this. There weren't as many eyes on the first time, but everybody knows about it now. It's actually pretty good as far as looking at something and wanting to spend some brain cells and listening to an actual story, not a bunch of garbage. Don't worry, I'm not talking about you, One Piece. Well, maybe I am. There's going to be some tailwinds there, and it's going to draw interest in here. And then these are going to move up. And this was under ordered again. I ordered 20 cases from one of my distributors. Now, I ordered from multiple distributors, and I was 40% of the order in the warehouse. So there's not a whole lot of this out there. And then Gundam. I got to end on this one. This one drives me crazy a little bit because the TCG Player algo is a complete piece of dog shit. The market price is actually lower than the lowest list. Now here it's not. I'll show you what with Riftbound Origins, because all of these Japanese boxes are skewing the price. The fact that these guys let these garbage boxes sell, it screws up. It screws up mass price. It screws up market price. It screws up everything. And all it does is it creates downward pressure on this. And look, 650 of these boxes are garbage. They're foreign language boxes. And I understand they want this because they want their commission, but this shit has no place in this portal. And it fucking drives me nuts. It's absolutely uncalled for. But GDO 1's done. GDO 2, small set, not ideal. GDO 3, hopefully, will be interesting, but it does look like the newest movie, I think it's animated, is going to be on Netflix the end of January. So it should have some interest here. And again, this isn't performing any differently than what the first One Piece set did when it came out, because it's going to come out with hype, it's going to die down, and it's going to gain its footing, and then it's going to start to move back. And that's what I'm kind of expecting to see. So 1 second. Let's go to Riftbound Origins real quick. So this is what I'm showing you with the garbage algo here. So this is Origins. So this has the market price is 263. So we have all of these, again, the same foreign garbage selling here, $60, $70, whatever. You get here, and then all of a sudden you have the lowest list, which is like 280. Now, a couple of these just came in at 267. But if I list on market price, my market price is listing at 263. So I'm going to undercut the lowest list because TCG Player can't get their shit together when it comes to market price, because they insist on keeping these garbage foreign fucking boxes listed. And this is what happened with Gundam. And this is part of the reason why the market continues to go down by this exact dynamic. So what the shitty part about it is the stores that are listing this and adjusting to market with mass price, they think they're listing above low list. But since the algorithm doesn't work here, it actually works against them. They're undercutting market price, which is way undercutting low list by like, I mean, here it's only like 4%, but early in the day it was 10%, and nobody wins. So again, this is a reason why TCG Player really needs to just scrap the algorithm, or I should say, scrap the foreign language cards. And I know with the API, these don't show up. I don't know why they do in calculating market price. It doesn't make any sense. It's idiotic, and it needs to get fixed. So anyway, guys, that was my very long-winded walk through the market, what I'm doing for Q1. So hopefully that was helpful. Feel free to comment. We're going to have a good discussion in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We'll have a good night.